I think that Ukraine should reject the proposals of the German and French foreign ministers being put forward during their visit to Ukraine, and there are at least seven reasons to do so. Deception. Foreign Minister of Germany came to Kiev saying that he has an agreement with Russians that the militants on the occupied territories of Donbass would stop their fightings against the Ukrainian armed forces. And recently the speaker of the President Putin vowed this statement saying that they have no control over the militants in Donbass. Secondly, the West put pressure on the wrong side. Minister Klimkin said that there is no connection between the constitutional change, pardon of those committed crimes against humanity in Donbass, and other agreements envisaged by the so-called Minsk Accord. Is not a pressure from the West, but our obligation to do so. But it contradicts with the wording of Minister for Foreign Affairs of France, who said that since there is a ceasefire, we need to proceed with the constitutional change and the special status for the occupied territories. Lack of trust. President Obama said there is gaps of trust between Russia and the United States, and without no surprise. Now we see not just pumping up military equipment and soldiers into the occupied territories on Donbass and Crimea, including, by the way, the nuclear means of delivery. But we've seen new installation alongside of our border, and Russia brought a lot of military equipment and soldiers with regard to the SNAP military drill Caucasian 2016. So, according to our military intelligence, there are up to 100,000 soldiers, 10,000 heavy armors, and up to 400 military jets and helicopters being taken from the military districts of the central and western side into the borders of Ukraine. The number of tanks in the occupied Donbass exceeded those in Germany. So this is certainly a violation of the agreements, and the Russians stepped down from the convenient forces treaty in Europe, and certainly without framing a new agreement with Russia and the whole of Europe to wage this military power, it's impossible to trust Putin and his deeds. Denial. Russia denies that it stands by the so-called republics. The same thing happened before Russia invaded Georgia. They were so-called military peacekeepers. And the same thing with Transnistria. Russia violated its promise of the Istanbul 1999 summit to withdraw its army, 14th Army, from Transnistria. It's still there. It's 1,500 strong. The hidden agenda. Russia is trying to push Ukraine for concession, to amend its constitution, to pardon those committed crimes, with the aim to have additional leverage of Ukraine. At the point, it has just a military way of pushing its agenda in Kiev, because after the Revolution of Dignity, Moscow lost all its controls over Ukraine. So it's the strategic aim of Russia to put Ukraine into the sphere of its influence, and it's doing by the military means, as well as trying to impose a political solution of so-called limited sovereignty. Illogical sequence. If we are to agree on the proposal of the foreign ministers of France and Germany, we will be possibly the first country who proceed with the political settlement before ceasefire, before lasting peace, and before withdrawal of foreign troops from our territory and disarmament of those illegal troops that are in Donbass. I don't think that this novel will be a contribution of Ukraine to the settlement of conflicts across the world. disagreement. The Ukrainian parliament and the lion's share of Ukrainian general public disagree with the idea of Ukrainian unilateral fulfillment of the Minsk Accords. Up to 70% of Ukrainian population doesn't like such an idea. Up to 14% of Ukrainian population, especially in the western and central Ukraine, are ready to fight against the Russian invasion. Ukrainians have shown its willingness to defend its future, sovereignty and territorial integrity and the way of life. Whether it will be with the European Union or NATO, it's up to Ukrainian people to decide, neither for the puppet states in the Donbass nor for the Kremlin itself.